The date was June 25, 2021. The entire world watched as a courtroom fell silent and a judge delivered a sentence that would change one man's life forever. Derek Chauvin, the former Minneapolis police officer convicted of murdering George Floyd, stood motionless as his future was sealed. 22.5 years in prison. Before I continue, let me pause for a moment. I want to pray for every person watching this right now. May God protect your families, your children, your loved ones. May He keep violence far from your homes, and heal anyone carrying silent pain. And I want you to know something personal about me. I am a crime analyst. I lost 2 children to murder. And that loss became the reason I tell these stories, to honor victims, to seek truth, and to make sure no life is ever forgotten. Now, let's continue. The judge's voice echoed through the courtroom as the sentence was read. 270 months. That number didn't sound real. And to many people watching, it felt like justice had finally been done.
0. That is a 10-year addition to the presumptive sentence of 150 months.
But what almost nobody understood that day was that this sentence was only the beginning of a nightmare. Because when Derek Chauvin was sent to prison, his punishment did not end with a locked door. It only changed shape. In 2022, federal prosecutors added another 21 years for violating George Floyd's civil rights. The sentences would run at the same time. And if everything went perfectly, no trouble, no lost credits, Chauvin would not be eligible for release until 2038. 13 more years. Most people imagine something simple. A cell.
Judge sentenced former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin to 21 years in prison for violating George Floyd's civil rights on the day he was killed in May of 2020.
Books. Routine. Time passing slowly. Case closed. But that is not how prison works for a man like Derek Chauvin. Because he is not just another inmate. He is a former police officer. Convicted on video. Convicted in front of the world. Convicted in a case that ignited global protests. And in prison culture, that combination is a death sentence without a judge. By January 2026, Chauvin is housed at FCI Big Spring in Texas. A low-security federal facility with more than 800 inmates. Shared hallways. Shared yards. Shared spaces. Every step he takes. Every meal line, every visit to the law library, could be the last. And this is not speculation. On November 24, 2023, it already happened. Chauvin was sitting quietly in the law library at FCI Tucson, reading, working on appeals, doing exactly what inmates are allowed to do. And then, without warning, another inmate attacked him from behind with a homemade weapon. 22 times. 22 stab wounds. The attacker later admitted he planned it for more than a month. He chose the day deliberately. Black Friday. A symbolic date. If officers had arrived minutes later, Derek Chauvin would not be alive today. He was rushed into emergency surgery, hospitalized, then sent right back to prison. Not because he was safe, because there was nowhere else to put him. After that attack, the Bureau of Prisons quietly moved him again. From Arizona to Oklahoma City, then finally to Texas. And still, his family says they fear no prison can truly protect him. Here is what most people don't understand about prison life. There is a hierarchy. There are unspoken rules. And Derek Chauvin broke all of them. Former police officer. Strike 1. Convicted of killing a black man on camera. Strike 2. The case became a symbol of racial injustice worldwide. Strike 3. That is not 3 strikes. That is a permanent target. To inmates, Chauvin is not a man. He is a symbol, a trophy, a way to gain status. And because of that, protection becomes punishment. Protective custody, segregation, solitary. 23 hours a day alone in a cell. 1 hour to walk alone in a cage. No programs, no work, no community, no normal human contact. Just walls, silence, and time. Psychologists have warned for years what long-term isolation does to the human mind. Depression. Anxiety, hallucinations, paranoia. The United Nations has called prolonged solitary confinement cruel and inhuman. Chauvin has likely lived this way for more than 2 years already. And he may have another decade left. And still, he fights. In November 2025, Chauvin filed yet another appeal. 71 pages. 3 main arguments. That medical testimony was flawed. That police training was misrepresented. That the jury was influenced by public pressure. Legal experts are skeptical. Every appeal so far has failed. But hope is all he has left. Hope that one judge might listen. Hope that one ruling might change everything. Hope that he might leave prison alive. In 2025, rumors began to circulate about a possible presidential pardon. But here is the truth. A pardon could only affect his federal sentence, not the state murder conviction. Even with a pardon, Derek Chauvin would still remain in prison. The headlines mean nothing. The cell door still closes. Which brings us to the question that haunts this case. Is life imprisonment always more humane than death? On death row, inmates are isolated for protection. They are not hunted. They are not targets. Chauvin is. Every day, every shower, every hallway, every meal. He has 12 more years of wondering if today is the day someone finishes what was started. 12 more years of isolation, fear, silence. And even if he survives until 2038, he will leave prison at 62. Career gone. Marriage destroyed. Name forever cursed. And through all of it, he must live with what he did. 9 minutes and 29 seconds. A man pleading for air. Bystanders begging him to stop. A moment the world will never forget. This is not a typical life sentence. This is a man whose crime became history. A man whose name became a symbol. A man paying not only with time, but with existence itself. And now I ask you, is this worse than the death penalty? Is constant fear more cruel than finality? Is isolation more merciful than execution? Or is this exactly what justice looks like? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Agree or disagree, I want to hear where you stand. And if you believe in protecting life, in seeking truth, in honoring victims, please like, subscribe, and stay with me, because these stories matter. And no life, lost or living, should ever be forgotten.